Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Push to Talk podcast. I'm Ollie. Hey, I'm Ollie, also known as Huckleberry, and joining me today we have Ash, also known as Captain Astro.
Hello.
He's over that way. We also have the lovely Gus, known as Goose TSW.
That's me. Hello.
Over in this little corner down here, we've got the beautiful Jay, better known as Stereo Prophet.
Hello.
And over to my right, we have Toby, also known as Strobe Fire Studios, our lovely editor.
Pleased to meet you, everybody. Glad to be here.
There we go. Well, I mean, it's our first episode. There's a fair bit to talk about. We've a little introduction to who we are. It's probably a good idea. And also, as of the day of recording, we're just coming off of the end of Gamescom. So there's a lot going on at the minute.
There is. There certainly is. A lot to get into.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess we should probably start off with what are we all playing at the minute? What's everyone into? What are we all doing?
Well,
what are you playing with? What are you playing, Ollie?
What am I
but
playing?
what are you playing with?
What are you playing with? And
my hands are here. It's okay.
Platform.
What am I playing at the minute? I am, well, I mean, as of like yesterday and like a teeny little bit the day before, I've started playing Tarkov, which is, it was one of those games. It's like a super hardcore shooter for those who don't know. It was one of those games that kind of always interested me, but I was never really sure if it was something I wanted to try because it looks like, I know the learning curve is super hard and the barrier to entry is really high. But after kind of the first few games, the itch has started to emerge. Like I spent most of today just watching like videos on Tarkov and like in the background while I was working, and I've desperately wanted to play it all day. It is.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Escape from Tarkov.
It is Escape from Tarkov.
Oh right. Okay. Cool.
Is it basically like a hardcore mode, sort of like COD on hardcore, basically?
Hardcore in the essence that you gather your gear, and if you die, you lose it all and start again.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's kind of like it's closest to like a really like a hardcore PUBG, but with a lot less people.
Yeah.
That's
a good way to put it.
Yeah, like rather than a battle royale where you've got the circle, it's a matter of just get as much as you can and make your way out. And it's been giving me the same sensation as like the first time you play Minecraft. You know, when you first go into a cave in Minecraft and you've got all the spooky cave sounds and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to get me. But no, genuinely, this game has like borderline given me nightmares. It's terrifying, but it's really good.
All right, okay. Because when the first time I played Minecraft, for example, was quite recently, and I was always like, man, that game's not for me. It's children's stuff. You know, I'm beyond these things. And then my brother has I have a niece. My brother has a little girl, Chloe, and we're always trying to get her into video games, and she's never really cared. And then he stumbled across it, or he kind of thought perhaps Minecraft is the one that will kind of break the barrier. So my first experience of Minecraft was playing it internationally with my niece who's in America. So I haven't seen her in probably like 10 months or something. And we're in this little game world and it's my little avatar and I'm looking at her and the graphics are kind of ropey and whatever, that's part of the game. But I understood Minecraft because I was looking at my niece's avatar as she's kind of like looking around at the world around her and kind of absorbing it. And suddenly I fell in love with the game a little bit, which was really lovely. But the reason I was able to do that is because I wasn't confronted by the game at the start. It was easy to get into. Something like Tarkov, I feel like I might just lose my mind before I can actually get to grips with enjoying the game.
It's a lot to deal with initially. It's overwhelming, but you can simplify it quite a bit, which I think me and Ollie, like when we were streaming yesterday, I think we did very basics. Like we got some guns, a little bit of, some armor, some helmets, and then we just went in and see what we could find and then try and escape.
Yeah.
And extract and then see what we got.
It's definitely one of those games that you need to go in with someone who's played it before. I know like going in blind without anyone that knows what they're doing is terrifying. Like there's no tutorials. There is this extensive like wiki page of bullets and magazines and attachments that only work on some guns.
Right.
It's pretty daunting, but it's good fun. It is good fun. Yeah, man.
You definitely need a spirit guide for a game like that.
100%. 100%.
You know a game's really like difficult when you have to like do a wiki deep dive before you can even like play it.
Honestly.
That usually is the sign I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
I'm just straight out. I'm not doing that.
It'd be fun to get us all on at some point, though.
Oh,
Sure.
100%.
Yes.
It'd
we
be
should
cool
definitely
As
do
a
that.
big group, which is scarier because it's more likely that you'll team kill.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
Because there's no
great.
name tags, there's nothing. It's realistic.
well, yeah. I mean, for anyone that watched our stream the other day, shooting Ash in the face. Actually, not shooting Ash in the face. Pumping Ash with a magazine full of bullets because I thought he was the guy we were chasing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I followed Ollie into a building saying, I'm behind you, Ollie, I'm behind you. And then I wrapped around this, like, I guess it's like a warehouse with like big shelf units and stuff. And I went around this corner to loot a box. And I looked to my left. I'm like, I know Ollie's there. He looks at me for a second. I'm like, I'm dead. And he just starts just shooting me. That's it. I'm like, I have made a mistake. I didn't tell him I was on his right.
Yeah, it was bad. In my defense, it was really dark and I panicked.
Well, the good news is, it sounds like that character is now gone forever and you have to completely start again. So that's really satisfying.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
character lives. Like your main character is always the same, like, dude.
Okay.
But you lose all the gear that you had on you.
Yeah. I mean, when you came out of that, like, what you were bleeding everywhere, you had fractures. It was just, it was a bad time.
You destroyed me.
Yeah, it was a bad time. I mean, 15 bullets to the chest will do that.
Yep.
So what's everyone else playing? What
Also Tarkov.
Yeah.
Well, I and some of you guys I know have been doing this as well. Have been really, really fucking enjoying Fall Guys.
Now, played it.
The
term enjoying
is
not the word I would use, but I am playing it.
For the couple of seconds that you're on the map.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's great.
It is great, and it really takes it back. Like, to me, Fall Guys really brings me back to kind of, although we're not doing it like that, it really takes me back to when I was younger, sitting on the couch with my friends, whether it was after school or on the weekend with my brother or whatever, playing like a classic kind of multiplayer game. It's got that kind of pure playability to it, which I'm really enjoying. And it's been a real antidote to the other kind of games that I've been playing at the moment, like Ghost of Tsushima, or I say playing Mortal Shell, dying repeatedly at Mortal Shell, or even Flight Sim 2020, which is like really cool, right? But I'm not necessarily
serious.
Yeah. And then Fall Guys is just me and a bunch of mates dicking around. Like, I'm absolutely loving that game at the moment. And I'm not surprised to see it kind of blow up as it has done, because just has that raw playability to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the top-selling game on PS Plus ever.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that nuts, man?
Crazy.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
How many sales did it make?
It was
that's a lot of cash.
Though.
Yeah, that's true.
Fine, yeah. But, you know.
Yeah, okay, technicality, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
That's fair. But still, that's insane how many people are playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nuts. I don't know if you guys, I know we'll get onto it, but I don't know if you guys saw it at Gamescom or even really any of the press that they've done. It's just like these kind of young English dudes, and he's just doing it like this from his bedroom. Yeah. He's doing like Gamescom.
This is the lead game designer guy.
Right, there he's just chilling in his bedroom with his IKEA furniture.
Yeah. This is the trailer from Gamescom. This is the first season 2 sneak peek.
Season 2, right? Yeah.
It is.
It looks amazing.
It does look really fun. It's definitely one of those games I want to get into. And it was 7 million downloads, 7 million copies, which is bananas for a tiny little studio.
Oh, man, it's making me want to play it.
I still need to, man.
It's so fucking annoying, but it's so good.
It is. And I think there's so many elements to what they're doing here that works. Like, not just the game, but even their sort of like social media presence. Like, everything sort of around the game, they just seem to be nailing it, to be honest. Like, their Twitter is hilarious. Like, it's just.
Yeah. I know. It's a slight tangent, relevant tangent. I'm pretty sure one of the guys that's involved with it, or maybe is doing their social media, is a guy called Oliver Age 24. And he was like this dude that I found on YouTube like a long time ago, who does like drawing tutorials, and he draws like a 4-year-old, and it's amazing. It's the best thing ever. But then he got into games dev, and he started. I'm pretty sure he works for the studio that did Surgeon Sim. Is it Surgeon at Bossa Studios, the guys that also did I Am Bread?
Cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Is Surgeon Sim the one? Is Surgeon Sim the one where you just kind of you can just go like
You just have one hand.
Controlling all the fingers individual.
Yeah. The new one for that looks amazing. We should do a video on that.
Is that
that
you can
does
like
look
fully
good.
walk around?
You can fully walk around now
Amazing.
into different different theaters and stuff, and there's loads of different objectives.
That's a hilarious game.
So talk slightly on the conversation of couch co-op stuff. Toby, before we started kind of getting into it, you were talking about what you've been playing with your brother recently.
He visited recently. We're playing a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas 2. So not obviously Siege or anything modern, but a really old nutty shooter, brutally realistic. Just, do you know what? I was gonna approach Rainbow Six with a sort of a bit of. It's almost sort of apathy, really, for modern shooters. Not just modern shooters, but modern games in general, where there's all these weird mechanics and all these. It like you can't be a noob in these games, right? You pick up Warzone and you can have a good game with never playing it before, right? And Vegas, you just can't do that. You'll just get shot. You'll run out into a room. You'll just be instantly headshot by someone.
It looks great. It definitely looks like it's aged, but looks so fun.
It's not bad though. It holds up.
Part of it, the gameplay is the best, man. Like because you have to be better in order to beat a level. I haven't even completed a level on Terrorist on realistic with high enemy density. I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. But I was thinking to myself, it was such a breath of fresh air compared to just loading up a game, well, any game actually, to be honest with you, any game, and feeling completely garbage at it.
Yeah. Right.
And that was for me one of the most refreshing things I've played in the last month, I'd say.
See, I think it is a good trend that I think devs need to get into. Sorry for disappearing, by the way. I currently now no longer have a mask. My dog decided to destroy it.
Oh, cool.
But I think dude. I definitely think it's a trend that devs should start getting back into, and you can kind of see it with the resurgence or the popularity of Dark Souls games. Making games a bit harder and putting it all on the player, I think is definitely something.
It's a fine line though, isn't it? It is a fine line because
I agree.
You have to kind of, and it must be difficult because you want to imbue your game with a sense of kind of depth and that the kind of value is not just pick up and play and therefore drop.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time it can't be so impenetrable that it turns people off. The older Rainbow Six games, I always really wanted to love them, but then the kind of the tactical planning element and all that stuff for someone whose brain is basically like a box of bees, I just could never fucking concentrate on it long enough to actually do it properly, and then I would just get mowed down immediately and just lose my mind.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Definitely.
There definitely is a fine line with it, especially on a game design side, because sometimes games that are too hard can become frustrating, and it's that kind of trying not to make the game frustrating, if that makes sense. I'm a big fan of the Dark Souls games, and I think that's a big reason why people don't enjoy Dark Souls 2, because it makes the game hard by throwing cheap encounters at you and overwhelming you with a load of enemies in a tiny little corridor, and it's cheap deaths. I'm not dying because I'm bad. I'm dying because the game is stupidly hard, and that's when it gets frustrating. But I think with something like Tarkov, with Rainbow Six Vegas, I think it's down to you and you being aware and you kind of playing the game enough to kind of learn and mastering it, if that makes sense.
As long as the terms are basically fair and it's not, like you say, it's not just throwing things at you, literally for the sake of tripping you up. But I was going to say that those types of games nowadays, I feel so I guess the risk is you might miss out on a bit of the market share if you have a game that's way too difficult, right? But I think now with streaming and Twitch and stuff, that's quite entertaining to watch people do. So I think nowadays it's almost more viable to have games like that, because it's there's not only is there players that would like to play games like that, but there's just an audience of people that would never play that game but would happily watch someone play it because it's really funny to watch them play it.
Yeah. I watch a lot more Tarkov than I play it.
Right.
Like watching it is just wild. Like watching Dr. Lupo play it, he's a god at it. It's like he's running around in COD. But me and Ollie yesterday, we're just fumbling around trying to work out what bullets we're going to use next.
Yeah, man. I think that's actually kind of what, like, I'm very much the same. Like, I like enjoying people be better at games than me. Yeah. And like, especially hard games. That's why I think I really got into watching speedruns. Just watching people utterly annihilate games that I've spent like 40 hours trying to beat. And they're like, oh yeah, I can beat the game in like 45 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Toby, what are you playing this on?
My PC.
Oh, okay. So I could get this game. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. It's £8.59 on Steam.
I'm really keen to get into this.
When did it come out?
Is the server still up?
07, I think.
It's a long time ago.
Game.
Yeah, there's Rainbow Six 1 and obviously, Vegas 1 and Vegas 2. And then I think there was a big, long gap between...
2008.
Yeah, wow. 12 years old.
Man, 12 and a half years old.
I don't know thinking about that.
How do the servers work on this at the moment? Are they just...
Oh, no, literally, I'm just doing a solo... You just literally, from the main menu, press single player, terrorist hunt, boom. It's like XXX.
Okay.
Straight in. But that's the thing about it is you load up a map, you start off, you walk through a door, a bunch of enemies are there, and they're most of the time, if you die and you respawn, they're in the same place. So it's something that you can definitely get better at because you know exactly where they're going to be.
Yeah.
You can clear an entire room. Once you get so sick at it, you can clear an entire room without taking a single hit.
And that's really satisfying.
Unbelievably satisfying, mate. And I still haven't even finished the level. Like, I get killed with like 6 enemies left, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like, that one guy, that one terrorist, and he's like, spout something in like some foreign language, and I'm dead.
Because it's always had, like, the Rainbow Six games for me have always had this slightly like janky kind of quality. Like they've never seemed to have been that concerned with having like really great feeling movement or like even animations. Like I think we saw some video here, the guy throwing a grenade and the hands just like, Urgh.
Yeah, 100%.
But even in Siege, it still feels a bit like that now to me.
Oh, definitely. Even from playing Vegas 2 on the console on PS3 and then can play it again on the computer, the fact that I can like change my sensitivity beyond what the game is capable of through like DPI on my mouse, for example, I can beat the jankiness through sort of better technology or whatever. Sure. But I mean, I've always been a computer game player. I've never really put too much time into consoles, to be honest. Just followed the lead of my older brothers. But in terms of what I've been enjoying, it's just a massive breath of fresh air compared to modern shooters, I think.
Very cool. I'm gonna check that out actually.
It's like a level of jeopardy that isn't there. Like if you sort of with MMOs as well, but if everyone's a winner, then no one feels special in the game. And that was never the case in really old, when World of Warcraft first came out in 2004. Like you saw someone with amazing gear, you wanted to play the game long enough to get that guy's gear, and then like go into Battlegrounds and just one-shot someone. Whereas nowadays, you play a character, you can just buy your max level, which like completely defeats the point of leveling all that time.
Yeah, I hate that.
And you get given a set of gear, and there's also an internal scaling system, which means that if someone's been playing a game for a long time and has shitloads of great gear, they get scaled down so that you're on a leveling like an even keel, and it just makes no sense. I just think,
that's a deep discussion that we could go into. But like, I know 100%. That there's a lot of like publishers and a lot of game devs that are like that put things. So it's a lot of like the big dopamine rushes of like winning games and like giving things to you, almost like arbitrary things to you. It's why battle passes are so successful, because you play like 1 or 2 games and you get big flashing things all over your screen, and it's like, you've unlocked a skin for the bottom of your handle that you're never going to see, but you've got the skin for the bottom of your grip.
Yeah, that's my shit, man. Give me those arbitrary dopamine hits, baby.
Honestly, same. It's the same. I need it, but it's I think it can definitely like push down a lot of games.
I mean, it's because it goes down to it being driven by the economics of a game rather than how you actually want it really to be.
To feel.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Absolutely. So do think we've kind of veered onto a big old conversation about games.
We certainly have.
But I mean, okay, so we've just come off the end of Gamescom. Like, what does everyone think of stuff we've seen? Has anything stood out to anyone? I personally haven't really been that excited by Gamescom this year. Nothing kind of grabbed me. Like, I was... Sorry, go on, Gus. You were going to say something.
Well, I was just going to agree with you. I feel exactly the same. It's been a bit of a strange couple of months in general, I think, especially when we're factoring in the idea that we're going to have these 2 big new consoles coming up in a few months. So I should be hyped about a bunch of games right now. And am I? Well, not really. So I didn't see much at Gamescom that was blowing my mind.
I was looking forward to seeing some more stuff for the new Ratchet & Clank that's coming out, because it's one of those games that I will most likely pick up alongside the PS5. But they just showed us a slightly longer version of the gameplay that they showed us during the PlayStation event.
Yeah,
so
they just seem to. They did seem to talk about it for a long time over at Gamescom. Though they'd spent a good it felt like half an hour, because I was trying to skip through going through the trailers, and I got to the Ratchet and Clank bit. And I was like, "Is this over?" No, it carries on. And then there was like a break, and then they came back to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have played it, the others. I haven't actually even ever touched any of the others one, but I will say I think this one looks pretty good.
It does look good.
Oh, it fully does look good, and I mean, like, it definitely shows what the hardware can do as well. I mean, from an actual dev perspective, the whole seamlessly transitioning between levels actually melts my brain, and I love it so much. But because I don't know how they've done that. That actually hurts my head, but it's really cool, and it definitely shows how cool ray tracing can be. It definitely looks fun. I mean, the old Ratchet and Clank games were wicked. I really enjoyed them, but I
only ever played the demos.
Yeah, they had a bit of a whiff of Spyro for me. I was like, nah.
A little stink of Spyro.
Yeah, a little Spyro stink coming into the window. Nah, man.
Oh no! Why?
I don't really like. I don't like Crash Bandicoot.
I hate Crash Bandicoot, dude.
Whoa, man!
Just get that shit out of my face.
Hold say bye for those. Say bye to our Sony sponsorship.
Oh, you guys wound me. You wound me.
Did you not like Crash Bash? You know, where. Do you remember there's that one where you all control a little tank? You start off in the corner of the map and you have to just...
I do remember that. Kind of Bomberman-esque.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, that was the greatest couch game you could play with your friends. It was such good fun. Crash Team Racing as well.
Crash Team Racing is about as far as I'll go.
Crash Team Racing.
Why aren't you playing Mario Kart? If we're going there, it's got to be Mario Kart, right? So I never really got. I will say the first Crash Bandicoot, I did love it because it did feel quite different, and the kind of the dimensionality of it, the perspective and all that stuff, was quite new at the time, as I remember. So I did enjoy that, but Crash, Spyro, all of those, they never really grabbed me. But this one, I think, through graphics, if nothing else. Ratchet and Clank, the new one, does look pretty good to me, but I didn't really. Not that many other games were grabbing me.
Dragon Age 4. I love a bit of BioWare.
Okay, fine.
I didn't actually.
BioShock, dude.
Yeah, there we go.
BioShock.
Anytime those guys make a game, I'm gonna try it because I generally have a good time. So Dragon Age 4 looks great.
Did you play any of the other Dragon Ages?
I did play 3. Yeah, I did play 3. But not extensively, to be fair. I think as it was a friend's, I played at his house or something. I can't really remember. But I remember thinking it was pretty cool. But so this time round, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Also, really intrigued by that game 12 Minutes, which is voice acted by loads of big actors. You've got Willem Dafoe in it. Daisy Ridley,
12 minutes.
James
12
McAvoy.
minutes. I was thinking of the one where you play as someone who gets assassinated by Agent 47. That's what I was thinking of, but I don't know which. Yeah, so I don't know what 12 minutes is. I need to have a look.
12 minutes, guys. It's it's weird, man.
Oh no, it is. Yeah, so
it's this one.
Yeah, so you play as a target of Agent 47 from the Hitman games, and you play through that loop. Am I right?
That's cool. Yeah, I think you are right.
Little time loop. Nah, it definitely looks really, really cool.
Looks great, doesn't it? It actually looks great.
It's interesting to me. It's a it's just it's not like anything else that you would see at Gamescom. Like it was kind of came out of left field, which has me intrigued, to be honest. And obviously, when you've got those sort of like Willem Dafoe is an amazing actor.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I can't really say much about Daisy Ridley, but James McAvoy's pretty sick as well. But yeah,
I wish they'd make Willem
stoked.
Dafoe the Joker.
Oh man,
I wish.
Don't even need to give him any
good.
makeup. Just get him ready. Just chuck him out there. Put him in a green suit.
He would be a wicked Joker.
I'd never thought about that, and we could definitely talk about it all night. But you are right. That's an interesting choice.
Correct.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I let the Daisy Ridley thing completely slide.
Yeah.
We won't even go there. We'll be completely derailed.
That's a big conversation.
Yeah, let's not go there. But
Look at that.
you know, it was cool.
Oh no.
Yeah, that would be rad.
He would make a one.
Actually, on that note of Daisy Ridley, one thing I did think looked really good, actually, was the new Lego Star Wars. The Skywalker saga. I thought that looked sick.
Yeah, 100%. I'm there for that.
They've packed so much into it.
Yeah.
Like really different variations of different gameplay and stuff.
It's going to be wicked.
Lego Star Wars is so funny because it's like, you'll have us lot who are like, yeah, Lego Star Wars. And then, do you know what I mean? And then you also have like, you know, I don't know, like the youngest people that play it, but, you know, you probably, you know, little kids would be playing that game too. I think it's a great, similar to Fall Guys in the sense it has a wide spectrum of people that could be playing it.
Yeah.
And it's like more really fun. Doesn't like, it takes itself seriously, but not too seriously. Like
that's right. Yeah,
it's good, man.
There's a bit of kind of irreverent humor in there. Like it kind of takes the piss out of itself a little bit, out of the source materials, but actually it's a lot of fun. And actually I think it's really smart marketing as well, because it does just get a whole new generation of people, youngsters, into, in essence, films that are like 40 years old, right?
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
I've just noticed they've got Luke drinking the blue milk.
They do, yeah.
The new film,
exactly,
like in the old bit, and it's like,
well, they had the blue milk on Tatooine.
They did
They
did indeed.
Speaking
of Star Wars, there's also a Sims Star Wars thing happening.
Yes, and that was intriguing. Something to do with Batu, right?
Batu, something Batu.
Yeah, it's the world that's a universal.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah,
which is actually in the lore of Star Wars now.
Really. I know there was a lot of there was actually a bit of backlash with the Star Wars Sims update that came out. A lot of Sims players were like, "Thanks, EA. We've been asking for these like huge bug fixes and like all these game fixes, and you've given us something no one really asked for."
Yeah, right. Yeah. Look at that. Looks great. Yeah, I really want to play this. I think this looks really cool. Really show off that PlayStation 5 and Xbox One Series X as a fucking Lego game. But nonetheless, it will be.
Well, the graphics on them are good.
Yeah,
they're like shiny and they look plastic.
Yeah, all the little seams where they've been
crazy.
Printed and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing, like, because I love the Lego games were wicked. They were all really, really cool. One thing I kind of miss is when there wasn't voice acting. There was something about like the silent, almost like slapstick comedy that was really, really cool.
Gotcha.
And then they added, I think it was in like the Lord of the Rings ones. They started adding voice acting, and I was like, "Oh, this feels really weird. Like Lego characters shouldn't talk. This feels really strange."
I guess the Lego movie just changed that. I mean, that was probably before the Lego movie, to be fair. But
I think it was a similar time, or like a few years before. So it probably like
they were like, "We're about to have a film where loads of Lego pieces are talking. So feel free to get some voice actors in there."
Which I have a lot of time for those movies, by the way. I watched them with my niece ad infinitum, and I ended up falling in love with them a little bit.
It was wicked.
I think you guys touched on something quite
interesting. Speaking of Star Wars, I was going to carry on with Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
talk about Rogue Squadron.
On, dude. You crack on.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about Rogue Squadron.
I'm so excited for this game.
What is it called? Star Wars Squadrons. I am so hyped for this. As an owner of VR and flight sticks, I'm just going to live in here.
Yeah.
I want to relive my was it the Rogue Company games? Was it Rogue Company?
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron. That was it. The Rogue Squadron games, man. Oh, they were so good.
The N64 ones. I mean, it's like you're saying, Ash, with the VR and everything. That is kind of like a dream game I would concoct in my head as like a 12-year-old, like to be able to play, like fly
an X-wing,
all the different shit,
and look around, because you'll be able to lean for, like in the TIE fighters, you'll be able to lean forward and look slightly out the window to get a better view.
That's pretty rad. Yeah.
The closest
like in
thing,
an X-wing, you look behind you and stuff. It's going to be amazing.
That's amazing. The closest thing to that up until then would have been that Star Wars arcade game, which
was amazing.
You know, where
when it came out on Hoth.
Yeah, exactly. And you had all the different like main battles. Do you ever play that? It's just like it's a random one that you sometimes find in arcades.
I've been
like the trench run and.
I'm thinking of the pod racing one that was an arcade game where you had like the full like
episode
1 pod racing setup. That was cool.
That felt so natural as well.
Mm-hmm.
The two
you raced on those.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I'm 4, but I'm good at this.
Was that the same?
However old I was.
Now this is pod racing. was that the same game as the N64 pod racing game, or was it a different?
Probably
game?
Based on it.
Oh, that game was so good, dude.
Or it might be the Racer Revenge version, which had better.
Sure. Oh man,
might have had better graphics, I think.
Yeah,
we could do a whole episode about the best Star Wars games out there.
We certainly could, but man, that just game
absolute bangers.
There are, but that arcade game when it came out blew my mind because there hadn't been up until that point anything I think that allowed you to do the Hoth kind of scene where you're like wrapping up the AT-AT's legs and stuff like that. It was like the first time, and it looked those old kind of those old like Sega games at that point. They were just like smashing it, doing these really amazing looking arcade games. And that just took my breath away at the time.
And now you can just do that in the comfort of your own home, and it's obviously going to look insane. I feel like the campaign is probably quite short. I reckon they're gearing up just for throwing new expansions. They'll be able to like release new ships, put out different little missions.
Yeah,
I think they'll keep it short and sweet.
I do think the campaign probably will be short, but like for the same reason that the space battles were the only thing I played in Battlefront 2. There's so much like
they were good.
Hopping in with your mates, trying to fly in formation, and like take down a Star Destroyer is just, it's such a cool feeling.
That sounds great.
It just sounds wicked. And you're saying about it's like the game that you'd concoct when you were a kid. There was a dev talk, I think I want to say it was State of Play, but I don't think it was. One of the events we've had this year, they were talking about how the lead designer was like, yeah, I designed this game when I was like 4, and he like brought out all of these like drawings that he'd made when he was a kid, and he was like, awesome. I can't believe I'm finally making this.
That is amazing. Hopefully that's sort of the excitement that it imparts on you when you're playing it, and I imagine it would be.
I think that was for this, but I think it was for Squadrons. I think it's that
Oh,
guy.
really? Okay, cool. As long as we can do that bit that Poe Dameron does, where he does like the handbrake turn of the X-Wing.
You can drift them.
As long as you can do that, then
they've confirmed it.
In. That's amazing.
So excited. I am so excited for this game, dude. It's going to be wicked. What else? Actually, we you mentioned something earlier, Jay, talking about doing things you can do in the comfort of your own home. Jay, I don't know if you've at any point have thought, hey, I could do with a new phone. And because like mobile gaming, I don't know if you know, is like it's the future. I mean, actually,
apparently, it's the death knell of consoles and PCs alike. So
I do think so.
I mean,
high key, I have actually been enjoying COD Mobile quite a lot.
It's good.
I actually want you guys to play.
It's really good.
It is really good. And for the people at home, if you don't know, Ultimo GG have partnered up with Royalty RGB and Sony to run a COD Mobile tournament. It is free to play. It's free to enter. And the top prize is the brand new Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. I think that's its name.
That is it.
That is it.
To sign up, you can head over to ultimo.gg. And there's a little thing on the side. That's the Xperia tournament. Click on there. Click on the sign up. Join. Tell your friends. It's free. It's free to play. Like, why wouldn't you? It's really
Why
cool.
wouldn't you do this? Who doesn't want that amazing phone, right?
Exactly. It is a really cool phone.
It is.
Also, to be fair, like I would say that the skill level on mobile is a little bit lower than if you were playing Warzone on PC. So if you're actually pretty sick on PC or PlayStation, easy win. Get involved because I think it's a bit you could smash it.
Well,
yeah.
You guys disagree?
No, we were shredding. the other night.
Absolutely
We had
shredding.
Was it 4 for 4?
Yeah, we were 4 for 4.
Nice, boys. Nice.
Back-to-back wins on Battle
That's
Royale.
amazing. I've never gone 4 for 4 on
No,
War.
ever.
Man.
Just so you know, you guys can't enter, so don't get any funny thoughts.
Yeah, I
right?
know. It sucks, man. I really want that phone.
I don't know how good I'd be at solos, though.
Yeah, it's a whole
True,
other ball.
but I've won solo mobile BR games, so
Yeah, I mean,
who knows?
I was playing it today to grab some footage for a video that may or may not be out by the time this is out. But yeah, dude, I won like 3 games, and then I got absolutely demolished. There's like a barrier with ranked. I hit silver, and then I just started dying a lot.
Excellent.
Yeah, but it's good fun. It is a really good game.
Yeah, it looks rad, and I'm really looking forward to that competition. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's coming up real soon, right?
Yeah, so tournament actually takes place September 5th.
Yeah,
is it Friday or Saturday? Sorry, I can't remember.
That's Saturday.
Saturday. A weekend tournament. That means it's a big one.
Recording.
Yeah,
it does mean it's a big
September
one.
5th, 2020.
Yeah. So sign up.
Go.
It's also fun to play if you just enjoy the old COD games because there's a load of old maps in there.
Oh,
you can't play on them anymore.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Good.
I had a good time today, sitting in a house watching 2 guys try and take out this like giant zombie boss. They beat him, and then I popped them both with a sniper. It was wicked fun. I got all their loot. It was so good.
Amazing.
Yes.
Speaking of mobile games, dude, Pokemon Go is so good.
Is this a new thing for you, Toby?
Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
No. I've been playing it since release in 2016. But I recently picked it back up because of COVID lockdown, and
it's improved a lot.
So good, man.
It
really is. Like you can feel like. I'm not sure whether it's just because they've gone easy on a few of the mechanics. Like you no longer need to do quite so much walking to hatch a flipping egg, or like you don't need to walk to raids anymore. You don't need to walk to unlock PvP or anything. You can just sort of do it all. And I think that's made the game unbelievably playable.
Cool.
I love powering up my flipping Mewtwo with Stardust, man.
That's so cool.
Shit on people in PvP.
Amazing. I have a confession.
But it makes you feel so good.
Go for it.
Confession though, I have never played 1 minute of any Pokemon game ever on any system.
Wow.
Oh, never.
Well, that's a new stream series that we're going to do.
Yeah, let's get you into it.
And I've always been like jealous because I'm like, I don't get it. I want to know, but I've just never actually played anything. So maybe Pokemon Go is my entrance.
I can tell you the fury of my brother saving over because when you had the like Game Boy Advance and there was like the cartridge, my brother dude, I was at Giovanni. All I had to do was be a Giovanni, do my Elite Four. Dude, the game got saved over, man. There was no turning back. It's not like you can like find the save file.
Yeah, of course.
My little sister did the same thing on Yellow.
You poor man.
On my Game Boy Color, gone.
Oh no!
The first time I felt true disappointment in a game, such a feeling of just being upset, man. Yeah, heartbreak. It was horrid.
That's amazing.
Back to 2016 though, like when Pokemon Go actually came out, it was a wild time. Like it was summer. Yeah. It was summer. Like living in London, it was like there were.
Oh, I can imagine.
Like when it first came out, like that first weekend like, in London, like if you went to any like big parks in London, which everyone who's playing the game was doing because they wanted to go catch Pokemon, there were like crowds of people around playing the game.
Oh yeah,
it was a kind of an amazing experience. I don't think they'll ever be able to recapture that, but they obviously, like you said, they've definitely changed it for the better. I think because when it first came out, it was a bit janky. It wasn't as good as it is now. But there was more the community element of being like you're out and about, and you would see people, and you're like, they're definitely playing Pokemon Go. They're playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
it was pretty wild.
It was all the
community
people
elephant
walking around like
it was
this.
Crazy.
Element.
I actually did. When I moved to Reading, one of the first things I did was this is when Pokemon Go came out. When I moved to Reading, the first thing I did was create like a meetup. I was like, I don't know anyone here, so I'm just going to make a meetup on Facebook. And there was I had like 30 people turn up.
Amazing.
And I was like, okay. And it was just was it Team Lightning?
So Mystic, Valor, and whatever it is. The blue, red, and the yellows, right?
What's the yellow one?
I don't know. Google.
I should know this because I play it. Instinct. That's what they're called. Instinct.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just going to go on to say this. I used to live in a town, my previous job. The sandwich shop in this town gave a discount on days of the week where if you were a Mystic, it was like Mystic Monday, right? You get 50% off your sandwich.
That's amazing.
And on Tuesdays it was Valor, and Wednesdays it was Instinct. And I'd go and get the sandwich on Monday because I'd get this like bacon and coronation chicken, great flavor combination, by the way.
Okay.
I'd get this sandwich because they'd give me 50% off because I played this game.
That's so cool.
That is
Was
hilarious.
it a
You just
Pokestop
don't
as well?
get that. Nah, it wasn't a Pokestop, but
But that's what I was
That
going to
would've
say,
been
though.
amazing.
Like, if you were a business and then your business happened to then just get made into a Pokestop, like, you instantly saw like an uptick of people.
I'm
like,
sure.
if you're a pub that were a Pokestop,
100%.
so funny.
well, when you hit max level in the game, you can submit a form that says, "Please, may I have my own Pokestop?" Right? So you can people just have Pokestops on their own house. Yeah, dude. Like,
That's so cool.
oh yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
yeah. It's really inclusive.
That's
On
cool.
the subject of Pokestops and stores doing the same thing, there was the local church in Aylesbury did the exact same thing. They had a little cafe off to the side. It shut down, unfortunately. But they were like, we need to get more people in. What should we do? So they set up like a little charging station. They gave discounts to anyone that was coming in.
Smart.
But it was a Pokestop as well, so it was actually a really good space, and it was like right next to the town center, which was just full of stops.
You just farm.
Yeah,
It's
like
absolutely incredible.
So funny.
on my days off at work, I would, or like if I was like in the comic book shop late, I'd be in there in the morning with like my tea, and I'd be sitting there trying to catch stuff. It was good. It was really good.
What a smart company they are, Nintendo.
I've got a bunch of mates who only go outside at like 1 a.m. to catch ghosts.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane.
I've not been playing Pokemon Go, but I've been playing a lot of Minecraft Earth recently.
Okay.
Which is same sort of vein. You go outside, walking around to like collect resources, or you collect building materials, and then you have these like build plates which you can place down using AR, and then you can like build houses or like set up farms, and it works like actual Minecraft. So there are people that have made like wild redstone contraptions that like I don't know, spawn infinite ender dragons or whatever. But you can like leave these around, and there's like dungeons all over the world that you can hop in and like hunt creepers and stuff all in AR. It's really, really cool, but there's like no one playing it, so there's just like nothing around, and it's a real shame unless you're in like major cities. Yeah, it's a real shame. I've not been into the city center here, so I've not really seen it, but like in kind of the surrounding area, there's just like nothing, and it's such a shame because it's a really cool concept.
So everything stays where people put it.
Mm-hmm. So currently, I have I've currently got a farm, like a layered farm in my back garden that anyone can kind of hop into and like help with, or like take some wheat or whatever, or if they really want to, completely annihilate it. But yeah, it is really cool. It is really cool.
So the griefing could be quite bad then.
Oh, absolutely.
Just loves
It
bit
is pretty
griefing.
bad. Yeah, exactly.
Love
Some people play games
Rash.
just purely to grief people, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. It is a shame, but no, it's really cool. It is.
That's the thing about this Gamescom. Just to kind of like bring it back a little bit, is that I'm waiting for these, and you know, especially with the upcoming new generation of consoles, it's like I'm looking for that big game to come and be like, oh shit, you know, and I'm just not really seeing it at the moment.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
The Gamescom left me kind of pretty cold on the whole. I found some enjoyment in Lego Star Wars and whatever, but really it was a bit of underwhelming. Cyberpunk, I really want to know a lot more about because I'm excited / worried about it.
Yeah, I'm getting concerned now because it's like, you know, when something gets so hyped that inevitably it can't live up to all the expectations that people have for it. I'm like, Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Staggering.
So CD Projekt Red are one of my favorite studios, without a doubt. But I just hope they can kind of deliver what people think they're going to deliver.
Well, I mean, The Witcher spawned a blooming television episode thingy on Netflix, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I did watch it, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, that's how good a game can be.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, I think it definitely helps with The Witcher because they've got obviously all of the novels behind them, and they've got like all of this lore that they can like pull from and build on top of, which is really cool.
That's
the 2077 being built on top of,
and they had a banging tune as well.
Yeah, that
tune.
With 2077, I think we're gonna they're building on top of a really old tabletop RPG, which is very much of its time and doesn't really have much lore to build on. So, I mean, they're free to kind of do what they want, but also I'm worried that maybe they're not, because they haven't got such a solid base to build on top of. Maybe the story is going to be a bit naff. I mean, fingers crossed it's not, but it's a game that I've been super excited for as well. But then seeing some of the gameplay recently, I'm just not, I don't know. It doesn't look great. I don't know. Like I'm sure the story is going to be amazing, but the gameplay at the moment feels real or looks really kind of
I think it's because those original videos looked so incredible. And then when we get to see the gameplay and it's like, oh, this kind of just looks like GTA with bionic arms, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
That is.
I felt the same about Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely has a Watch Dogsy kind of vibe to it, doesn't it? But then you look at like the new Halo as well, and I'm like, okay, what's on the horizon that I'm really, really excited about? Last of Us 2 obviously was kind of that thing that was just over there for so long, and now that's been and gone. So I don't know
what's next.
What's next?
I think that's why I find myself installing so many old games, you know, because they fulfill that sort of. It's like a nostalgia trip, but then you realise how flipping good they actually were. Like Age of Empires 2. I play that with my brothers. It's fucking incredibly good.
Yeah. 100%.
Age of Empires, or I mean, Worms. You remember that? Worms.
Yeah, that's an all-timer, man. That's a Hall of Famer.
You can't get that. You just can't better it. Skyrim, even Oblivion, sometimes is decent. Like,
I agree. I think but then I also think maybe it's a bit of nostalgia glasses.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, I played GoldenEye last year, and it was fucking dreadful. I could barely even understand like what I was seeing in front of me. The graphics were so bad.
I recently picked up a boxed copy of it, or I got a boxed copy of it for my birthday.
Oh, amazing!
Last year, which was I mean, it's awesome. And I was like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this game again. I remember, I was sitting there like, I remember all the really cool times of playing it around my mate's house, like
Odd Job
on the beanbags and whatever.
No Odd Job.
That one asshole that plays Odd Job, yeah. But then I like booted the game up and I was like, man, this game's really not good.
Yeah, this looks terrible.
Yeah, not even that. Just it's like it was not fun to play. Like it's so janky, and like the lack of not having a second stick just makes that game nigh on impossible to play.
I was going to say earlier that an interesting point you guys brought up about art styles in games, and the more a game tries to look realistic, the older and more quickly it sort of looks crap.
True.
So like you can play Worms, right, and you don't care, right, because it's cartoon.
Yeah.
You can play Age of Empires because you don't care, right?
Yeah.
How it looks, because it's about, you know, getting your villagers and your army and your economy behind your army, and then you can just thrash your opponent. You play, you know, just as you said, that shooter GoldenEye. You can't get into it because you're so used to like shaders and lighting and all this kind of thing. I think that's a really key point that I think developers can take further. Fall Guys is a classic example of this.
Yeah.
I think Fall Guys will be massively playable in like 3 or 4 or 5 years time.
Yeah,
easily.
This is a conversation I was having with Izzy, my girlfriend. She works in games dev, and she was saying that like looking at everything that's coming out or for the new consoles, and like recently at the minute, everything's trying to be photorealistic or something close to it. And she's like, it's really cool now. 5 years time, these games are going to look awful. And you can see it in older games. Like I remember playing Medal of Honor on the GameCube and thinking, hey, this looks amazing. And then looking at it now, I'm like, this looks like dog shit.
Yeah, 100%.
But then I look back at like Wind Waker on the GameCube. Sure, like it's a bit fuzzy on the edges and like it runs at like 25 frames a second or whatever, but the game still looks stunning. And I think that just comes with like a well-made, like a game with good art direction.
Is that the cel-shaded one? Is that the?
Yeah, it's the one with all the sailing.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a little kind of anime boy teen.
Yeah,
very young, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I also have a lot of nostalgia for that game. That was like the Zelda game that like fully got me into it.
Oh, interesting. It was Ocarina for me.
Ocarina was actually one of the last ones I played. The first ever game I played was the original one on the NES because my parents had both the NES and the SNES still in the house. Cool. And they were like, hey, you should try the games that we used to play.
Well, that makes me feel old. I used to fucking play those games.
Exactly. They're like, yeah, you should see the games that we played when we were kids. And I was like, oh, cool. These are really fun. And then it was Wind Waker was the one that like fully got me into it. Ocarina of Time I played when they did the remake on like the 3DS, and then I got the NES copy and played that. Actually, no, I think I played it on the GameCube because it was on like the Master Collection, which was like
Ocarina came out on N64, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then played. Like,
I used to love watching my friend play Ocarina of Time. It was more fun for me to watch him play it than it was for me to actually play it.
The concept of that game is nuts. Like the like it's actually, especially when on that type of console, when you're like a kid playing that game and you start to figure out what the mechanics of it and how you can like how it all actually happens in one day. It's insane.
And like stuff like the size of the game, that was pretty unheard of at that time. I remember reading articles about it, like in CBG and all the magazines of the time, and it was like, you know, you could get on your horse and ride from this point to this point, and it will take like an hour or whatever. And everyone was like, no, sure, no, you know. And now that's like nothing, of course. But
of course,
was a seismic game.
Half-Life 1. That's a game,
mate. Don't get me started.
It just never ended. I was like, oh, I've done this bit in the labs. I'm now on the surface. I'm like around Black Mesa, and all of a sudden I'm in space, and I'm going back down to the surface. I'm like, this game just keeps giving. Man, imagine if they remastered Half-Life 1. Oh my god!
I mean, they have.
Oh,
yeah, you can just
There was a fan that it was a fan project, right?
Yeah,
it's amazing. I recommend it. I streamed some like a few months ago.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
It's very good.
So I'm gonna pull us slightly out of this tangent, and perhaps we need to do an episode on like nostalgia and old games. I think it's definitely something we should do.
For sure,
100%.
Black Ops Cold War. What do people think?
All right, let's pull that trailer up. Who played in the event?
I did
the game.
I didn't do it, but I watched Dr. Disrespect do it.
I haven't seen his video on it actually. But yeah,
I'm sure it was amazing. Low-key.
Such a good event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. I love how it's inside of Warzone.
Yeah,
I think that's so cool, man. Like advertising their new title within their own existing one.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best COD reveals they've ever done. To be honest,
that's fair.
Dude, COD's so good, man. I remember queuing for the very first Black Ops at uni. I remember queuing midnight with my buddy. I felt so involved in the community.
Right. Well, they managed to nail that thing, like FIFA and like very few other games, where the popularity of it has gone beyond like gamers.
Yeah.
It's become just like kind of mates.
Yeah.
And like uni, like teenagers, adults. It's become cool. It's helped to, I think, drag video games as a whole more into the mainstream, COD and FIFA and those kinds of titles. I think this looks great. I suspect my end experience will be cool. It's the same, which is really what they almost all are.
But that's the secret. That's the secret recipe.
Look at this. It's exactly the same.
It's the same game.
But it's fucking fun. And that's the thing. Like I'm still loving Warzone now, you know, and I suspect I probably will continue to enjoy it.
I have some pretty strong formed opinions on Black Ops and just like Call of Duty in general.
Okay.
Firstly, Activision, please get your devs to sort out the file sizes because it's ridiculous.
The
updates should not be the size of all 3 Dark Souls games put together. But with Black Ops, I think so. Firstly, I think what Epic have done with Fortnite, with the whole like in-game reveals and in-game events, is awesome, and I think it's definitely a cool new wave of like online gaming and stuff that we need. I think should carry on. But I think there's something feels weird to me about the like Fortnite doing these big events for like the new season or whatever, for this new free season that you get to go and play for free, compared to what Activision have just done with the, hey, come and see this really cool, like super hype event for a game that's going to cost us 60 quid and is basically going to be the same as what you're playing now.
Yeah.
But Warzone's going to be free still.
Warzone still will be free, but you're going to have to download a like 4,000 gig game to play it again because it's going to be a completely new game. And the other one that kind of gripes me with it is people are now going to have to download the new Warzone and lose all of the money that they've put into the last Warzone. And the game's only been around for what, like a year now? Like it's not that old.
Is that right?
I don't think it's gonna be a new Warzone. I think they'll just update this one.
See,
that's an interesting.
I think there's just going to be an overlap between Treyarch and Infinity Ward where they both work on Warzone stuff.
But they're set in different time periods, right?
Yeah, I'd heard that.
Well, yeah, I think they're going to nuke the map at some point, and it's going to be in the 80s again.
I'd heard.
Oh yeah, there's
a
a new map
new
coming
game.
to Warzone. Yeah.
I heard it was going to be a whole new Warzone with obviously all the new guns, new skins, new everything. So all of the stuff that people have spent money on in this Warzone is just gone. Like all your skins, all your guns are just going to be, because you're not going to have M4s. You're not going to have like modern guns in a game set in like the 80s. Unless they do some like weird, wacky stuff with it. I don't know.
But it's kind of like a clash of worlds, right? Because it's like they're basically watching what Epic are doing with Fortnite, and they're basically like, well, we'll do that. We'll do it like that. But they're also sticking to their guns. Forgive the pun, but with in terms of how they want to. In terms of how they want to take money from their customer base way more than maybe like a game like Epic, like Fortnite rather.
I mean, one option they've got is that they could have two maps, and then you have two maps for two different time periods, and you have a loadout for like the 80s, and then you have like a modern loadout. That'd be quite cool.
That could be really cool.
Yeah. The player base is big enough to spread it like that. I think
if they do it well, like it will be really cool. Like if they do like a weird, I don't know, like Clash of Worlds where you've got people running around with super old, like I say super old guns, but like super old guns, and then you've got these people with like fully like kitted out stuff.
That would be fun.
Maybe they'll do like I can't remember what the like super futuristic COD games were, but maybe they'll do one with those, and then you'll have like this weird like mishmash of like super sci-fi and super retro stuff. Maybe I don't know.
Everyone's doing a multi-universe thing now. DC doing it, Marvel doing it.
Yeah,
so why not do it?
Why not CODs?
Why not do a multiverse in a game? Why not?
Fair enough.
It's always Verdansk, but it's like different time periods.
That'd
be kind of cool.
That would be quite cool, actually.
Part of the problem is using two different clients to load up, so it's no longer one game. It's this separate game now.
That's like this is where a lot of my I guess not.
It's all about that, isn't it?
A lot of my concerns.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about that.
It will be, but then like if they do it as two separate games, you're then going to have people who are playing on like consoles where they can't easily expand their storage. Now having to decide what do I keep installed. I mean, there's people already going, "Hey, I've got to uninstall all of my games so I can play."
Buy a new gen console.
208 gigabyte currently mine sits at, which is bigger than 15 years of expansions of World of Warcraft. By the way,
every time there's a new update for Call of Duty, I have to delete another PlayStation game on my console. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not playing that anymore. Whatever. That's what's their plan, just to get rid of everything.
Yeah. If they can corner the market by not letting you play anything else.
Genuinely, someone in an office has had that conversation and they're like, "This is genius."
Yeah,
I'm sure they've got it all figured out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I mean, I'll be hopeful, but yeah, it's a worry I have where like it is just maybe it is going to become like another 200 gig game that you've got to install just to play effectively the same thing with different guns.
Definitely will be.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're all going to get it. So
yeah,
we are.
It's a work.
Yeah, I probably will. It is a work expense at this point.
Yeah, I've got to run. I've got tournaments to run.
Yeah,
I'm super down for the 80s, like as a time period for a shooter. Definitely.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'd be about like going even further back and going to like World War II stuff again, or even like doing.
I'm kind of bored of that though.
Setting. You think?
Yeah, like I feel like we haven't had like 70s and 80s is great. I think we've had so many World War One, which is even more boring, and World War Two stuff. It's
sure.
Yeah, it's good to see something a little bit more modern, but not too.
Sure.
Do you guys ever play? Was it Battlefront Vietnam? Did you guys ever play that?
So I never played that, but I was going to say that the kind of Vietnam stuff in this is what looks really cool to me.
Yeah, that was a sick game. That was I think was it Battlefront 2?
I mean Battlefield.
Battlefield. That's where I was from wrong. Yeah.
Vietnam.
Battlefront is the Star Wars.
Star Wars game.
Yeah, that's it.
Vietnam.
The only Vietnam game I remember was one called Do you remember a game called Viet Cong?
No.
Really old computer. I remember my brother playing it, and I remember thinking this game is so cool because there was, you know, the little Viet Cong tunnels and things. It wasn't a Battlefield game. I don't even believe it was a very big title. But
yeah,
it was the only game that I'd seen from that portion of the world, that sort of period in time, and that really captured the feeling.
2003 that came
kid.
out.
Yeah, I was a little kid, but I always thought that was a damn cool game, dude. Vietnam, great game.
Cool.
Yeah, just trying to think of like what are the sort of eras. You know?
Yeah, I think it's a hard one. I guess. I mean, I've not played much of like the recent like World War II, World War One style like or settings, so I guess I'm not like bored of it. It's something I'm looking forward to. But then like FPSs aren't really games I play much of, so it's only recently.
But you might like this, Ollie. So this is a VR game. This is Medal of Honor.
It's the Medal of Honor VR game, yeah.
Yeah. This I would play because it's VR and it feels fresh.
It does
This
sound
is like
terrifying.
full scale FPS in VR, and it looks good as well.
Yeah, I think the Normandy beaches in VR sounds kind of upsetting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
that experience we've all been waiting for.
Yeah,
Storming the beaches.
Storming the beaches in Normandy. That's going to be a rough one.
Saving Private Ryan, except you're there.
But it does look pretty cool. It does look pretty cool, and like
the mechanics look really good.
Yeah.
Like you can use object like throw knives at people.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I still need to play Half-Life Alex, man. I'm dying to play
finish Half-Life Alex.
That's the only VR game that just blew my mind, dude. I watched was it Jack Skepticeye picked up like a pen and was like writing on the window and shit. I was
amazing.
like, oh my god, that's so interactive.
There was a teacher that did a maths lesson on Zoom in Half-Life Alex writing on the window.
God,
that's really cool.
That's insane, man.
It's one of those. It is one of those like the next step. Like the Half-Life games have always done something innovative,
something
like
new.
Half-Life. Yeah, Half-Life 1 being the game that had like the full like interactive narrative, and then Half-Life 2 with the full physics engine. Like, what were they going to do for 3?
That's why they're not going to bring out 3 until there's a new technological innovation.
Well, I was kind of hoping this would be it, sort of.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a 2.75.
Yeah, I agree with Ash.
2.75.
I agree with Ash. It's like it's a test run. I think that they're waiting for VR.
Amazing.
It does look amazing.
For a VR game.
Yeah, I think
they just pushed it.
Gabe Newell did say he was like, this is kind of a not proof of concept more than that, but like they're like, we believe we're going all in on VR. We believe it's the future of gaming. It just needs to be executed correctly, and in our opinion, this is how you do it, or at least this is how you do it to the best it can be done right now. Yeah. So that gives me hope that perhaps Half-Life 3 is on the horizon. But
well, Valve is basically like the James Cameron of game developers.
That's true.
In the sense of like they wait for like a huge technological development, and then they're like, we're gonna be the first one out the gates with this, and we're gonna smash it,
completely dominate it.
Yeah, they raise the bar, don't they?
The same with Portal. The first time I opened the Portal device and went orange Portal and blue Portal, and I was like, holy shit, I can see myself through there, and I'm dropping down, and I fucking blew my shit, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, that game, I got my girlfriend on it recently. I installed her the whole orange box, and she couldn't even understand like what she was like, but she couldn't even get it in her head.
Yeah. And then you layer on like the humor and the script and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my goodness, Portal.
Yeah, and then Portal 2 is Stephen Merchant.
You're so right, Gus. You're so right, mate.
Stephen Merchant as well. Great casting.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Next episode of Push to Talk, we're going to do a nostalgia episode. I definitely think we need to like look back at old games, stuff we loved playing, because this is, I mean, it might end up being like a whole 2-hour episode, but we clearly have a lot to say.
Maybe we'll do it live.
Yeah, man. It could be good fun.
100%, yeah.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Do it live.
I think that's probably why I still play Bloomin' World of Warcraft after all these years, because I'm so nostalgic. And then Classic released last year, and I just was all over that. And
well, on World of Warcraft, what do you think of Shadowlands as our resident MMO player?
Mixed feelings. I'm really excited for it. I'm really, really pleased that World of Warcraft's still alive after all these years. But there's I think there's a reason why it's still alive, and it's because the community makes it the game that it is. It's definitely not a good game without the streamers that make it fun.
Yeah.
I would say, like we said earlier, I kind of watch more WoW than I play at the moment, just because I've kind of done everything I need to do in the game for myself, for my own personal goals, I guess.
Is Shroud still playing?
Cool.
Is he still streaming WoW? I haven't seen him stream it in a while, but I know he used to do raids and stuff.
Don't know.
I don't know if he's done one since he's been back.
I can't tell. I can't say. I know Summit was on a World of Warcraft related podcast recently, and Summit's mostly a shooter player.
Summit's been playing DayZ recently, and it's very exciting. Ooh. And Shroud as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm all about DayZ. I'm streaming that later today.
Are you?
Yeah.
I need to take a look at it because I am interested in the sound of this, but I've never really given it the time of day.
I definitely think coming from like playing Tarkov, looking at stuff like PUBG and DayZ, it's kind of piqued my interest now. It does look pretty fun. So
I got to bring you guys into the fold.
Yes, please.
We are fast approaching the 1 hour mark.
Okay.
So, has anybody got anything super burning that they want to say? Any real hot takes from Gamescom?
I guess the one thing that I wanted to bring up is this game, which I think, Ollie, you know more about it than I do at this point. But I looked at it and I was like, I want to play this because it looks. Let me get to the gameplay a second.
So I've not watched this trailer yet. The last time I played Spellbreak was like half a year ago, because I've been in the alpha and the beta for it.
This does look great.
It looks cool.
Like
the animation of the
just
effects,
the style of it,
explosions, like amazing.
It already looks better than it used to. So
awesome.
I remember playing in both the alpha and the beta, and I think actually, who was it that said? I think it was Billy in the Discord that said that, like, hey, it looks really cool, but like I hope they've improved from it. And the alpha and the beta were very noisy. Like the whole spell effects thing was really cool. They were huge and bright, and they covered your screen, and it was really hard to see what was going on. And like if someone attacked you, especially with like a fire spell, for example, you just had this big ball of fire in front of you and you had no idea where you got attacked from. So you didn't get that, like the feedback of like getting shot and turning around to see where you got shot from. But it is really cool, like the mechanics of picking up spells and then like merging them together. So like throwing down a gas spell and throwing a fireball at it to make it explode.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
The particle effects and stuff look like what was the last Dragon Ball Z? Fire.
I think it was. Is it Fighter Z or was it Capcom?
Fighters or whatever.
Yeah.
Fighter Z or Fighters. The kind of particle effects from explosions kind of look like. Graphically, looks like a mix of that and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
there's a lot of games doing that now. Like Valorant does it with their smoke grenades and stuff.
Yeah,
looks really nice, and that's coming out September 3rd.
It is free. Yeah, it should be free to play.
That's next Thursday.
Awesome.
Let's hop on a stream or even do a video. We should play it.
Yes, let's get on that. That looks rad. I'm well up for playing that.
Awesome. So that's my takeaway from Gamescom. Was I'm hyped for this. And
fair.
Yeah,
100%. Has anyone else got anything super hot to say, or should we wrap it up?
Well, looking forward to Dying Light 2, but that's about it. On the horizon for me is Dying Light 2. Yeah. Sure. It got delayed, obviously, earlier this year, just before COVID. It's probably a smart idea. Don't release it if you can't actually work on it. But
of course.
That fucking game, dude, looks so good. Dying Light 1 is still great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dying Light 2 for me looks really good. Again, I'm not unbelievably blown away by games.
Yeah,
Gamescom and to be honest, consoles in general. But I'm just so glad the video gaming industry is where it is. It's so inclusive. Everyone gets involved. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a say, and there is literally something for everybody. It's like the most wholesome community to be a part of, I think.
Yeah. If you ignore the
massive toxic,
the gigantic toxic element.
That's true. It's true.
But I do think when we were looking at, like, you look at the launch or kind of everything we've seen so far on PS5 and Xbox One Series X, and you've got like a broader range of styles of games than I think we've seen for consoles at launch in the past.
Sure.
Like whether it's just through the sizzle reels that we've seen or what, but does seem to be a lot of imagination coming to the table and serving this kind of audience that is wider than it's ever been. So that's really exciting. There's just not necessarily like the killer apps yet for me.
Sure. I think having more indie developers release their games on console launch is definitely helping, because actually if you look at first party and AAA games that are coming out on a lot of these new consoles, there's not a lot. So I think having all these indie games sprinkled in there, all these like kind of smaller studios adding their games in, like with 12 hours and you know, like the little PlayStation Studio games coming in, is just going to, I think, freshen it a bit more. So it is nice. There's a lot more. Bugsnax, dude. Kara the moment I heard that soundtrack, I was so hyped. I have listened to that song on Spotify so many times. And I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah. Well, what do we like, you know, PS5, Series X, what's everyone's vibe so far? Toby, you're not really feeling either one of them, I take it, but...
Yeah,
I will be picking up a PS5 because I need to finally play Demon Souls. I need to do it. It's the only one I've not actually. I've not finished Bloodborne, but I need to play Demon Souls, man. I'll be picking up a PS5.
I think I'll
probably the same, because there's no point me getting a Series X because I have a PC and everything.
Yeah.
Nor like if there's any Xbox exclusive stuff, it should be on Games Pass on PC as well. So. Yeah, but there's nothing really on PS5 that I'm desperate to play that I would spend that much on one.
Fine.
So I'll probably take some time before I drop the money on it.
Jay,
of course.
It's going to be PS5. It's going to be PS5. Although I have to say, I'm slowly getting converted to PC gaming by the day. But I'm always going to have a console. I'm always going to have a console there, and it's going to be the PS5.
Yeah.
I prefer the look of the Xbox Series X.
The console itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I do like that PlayStation are trying something.
I would like it all in black, though.
And I think the controller looks sick as hell.
I think the controller looks great.
It's fucking dope. I just think the console looks a bit like a George Foreman or something. But
it looks like my Virgin router.
It honestly does.
Yeah, it definitely does look George Foreman. Whereas the Series X just looks like the monolith or something.
Which is cool too. But I do like that but I do like that Sony are pushing things out. And I think I just think PlayStation at this point, the 360 was so you could not argue with it, and so I had to go with it. And the PS3 was weak anyway. But since then, like the PS4 cap just really grabbed me, and the Xbox One X never really kind of was doing it for me. And I thought, okay, if Xbox pull it out the bag on this next generation, fine, I'm in. But they're going to have to really impress me.
Yeah,
and they just haven't.
They're also
go on.
No, I was just going to say Sony are definitely going to release a black console. Like they're not just going to do the white one.
So I would prefer that.
Yeah, me too.
It's not really something we touched on, and I won't dwell on it too long, just because I'm wary of how long the episode will get. But something we never really touched on is like what like both companies are doing. Like Sony very much clearly seem to be focusing on like the games they're releasing for the console, and then you've got Microsoft, or I guess Xbox, who are focusing on their whole like play anywhere thing, which I think is an awesome endeavor and genuinely really cool. Like Games Pass has been the best, having all these games like that you can play anywhere. Good. And I'm very keen to see how their like play anywhere stuff goes, because I want to play stuff on like my phone while I'm on the train. I want to be able to play a lot of these big games sitting in my living room without having to buy the console, if that makes sense. I think it would be quite cool.
I think that it's interesting that Xbox would do that, because I feel like whilst I can really understand why that would be compelling, I feel like they're not learning the lessons that they should have learned on the last generation of consoles, which is like just focus on the fucking games. Like don't try and be this all-in-one, all-encompassing entertainment kind of thing that just
Nintendo
is with you everywhere you go. Yeah, like they tried to be this multimedia system on the last one, didn't they? That was like pulling in your streaming services and everything into this one thing. And it's like
you can buy Dominoes on your Xbox,
right? Just be good at playing.
I think that's why they've picked up all these different developer companies
Yeah.
and just putting them under their kind of umbrella, because then they can focus on the games, and then Microsoft, the Xbox team can just focus on the Games Pass service, because they're making more money from a service probably than throwing hardware out into the world.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Because there's no cost.
So.
Well, I mean, there's obviously cost, but like, there's no manufacturing cost.
Yeah. The thing
then make the servers good, and we'll be fine.
The thing with the whole like buying all these developers, they did that last gen, and it's really cool that they did that. So you can kind of get okay, you're going to be working on stuff. It makes sense that these devs aren't bringing stuff out. We're at the next gen now. These devs should be releasing stuff. What have we got? Oh, we've got Rare showing off a game that they've openly admitted they don't know what is going to be yet. So, like, what have these devs been doing for, like...
It's fine, though, because we saw a fairy get eaten by a frog, and that's enough, right?
Hey, dude, right. Fable 4, very hype when it actually gets shown off.
But then their tentpole game is collapsed. They're pushing it back 6 months, or something like that, right? It's not going to hit launch. So I just feel like they're making a bit of a mess of it, personally, which is 100%. Interesting to see at this stage. Like, it seems 100%. Like they still don't really know what they're doing. So PlayStation can now just kind of take the foot off the gas. It feels like they're just like, we'll give you the release date whenever, man.
Yeah,
we know we've won.
You've been playing Ghost of Tsushima loads, Gus, and I feel like that is a real indicator of like where Sony and PlayStation are going, like how they're looking at making games. Like they want to be pumping out games like that. I think that's their, and like I'm more going to be on the side of a company that's doing stuff like that personally. So
yeah, well, think about this is the end of PlayStation 4's life, and in the last 6 to 8 months, or the last 6 months of its lifespan before the next generation console, we got The Last of Us 2, we got Ghost of Tsushima, 2 huge exclusives. That's just in the last 6 months. And then you go, okay, cool, what's Xbox been doing in that time? And I'm like,
insert crickets.
It's easy to forget that the Xbox One exists. So I think that what we've taken from the end of this is Sony has smashed it, and Microsoft are floundering around and not quite sure what they're doing.
I mean, they're making money from Games Pass, I guess.
They are. They're making. So
I don't think they're worried.
Yeah,
Microsoft did Flight Simulator 2020.
Yeah, dude. Everyone bought Games Pass for that.
Yeah,
sweet.
Like when xCloud drops and I can play, what was I playing? When I can play Minecraft Dungeons on my phone with my Xbox controller,
it's gonna be wicked.
That's crazy.
Game over.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's almost like Microsoft are looking at Netflix and being like, we want to do that. And PlayStation and like, we still want to be like a big studio-based system. Yeah. Like,
and I think it's 2 markets. It's definitely 2 markets. I think it will be. You'll probably end up finding a lot of people will still have like their xCloud. People will have xCloud and they'll play all these games on their mobiles and stuff. And then people will have like the PS5 and they'll play all their like big games at home, nice and comfy. Sweet. We are about hour 20. That was super cool.
We're out of time.
So thank you very much for listening. We here at Ultimo GG wish you an awesome day or evening or whenever you're listening. Make sure to follow us on all our socials at Ultimo GG. Head over to ultimo.gg for all our latest updates, info and tournaments. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, Ultimo GG, for gaming videos, news, and all of that good stuff. Awesome. Don't forget to sign up to the COD Mobile tournament. It is free.
Yes.
It takes place September 5th. Go, ultimo.gg. Sign up, like now.
Now.
I have been Ollie, and I have been joined by Ash, Gus, Jay, and Toby. And it's been an awesome time. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Laters.
Till next
time.
Bye.